30th, 2019. It is definitely a day that's a little bit different than others. It is definitely a day that some people have been waiting for a long time, where some people are glad this day is here. That day today is the last showing of Illuminations. I, for one, my friends, am going to miss this beautiful and lovely show. I fell in love with the show the moment I first saw it, nearly 20 years ago. Believe it or not, I didn't even get to see it the first time that I came to Walt Disney World, mainly because I only had a two-park ticket. And therefore, I went to Hollywood Studios and to the Magic Kingdom because that's what we believe we would have the best time. The following year, we went to Epcot for the first time. And not only was I just overwhelmed by Epcot's beauty and charm and what it had to offer and how much my kids enjoyed it, it had Illuminations. And I'm not going to lie to you. The first time I saw Illuminations, I really did have tears in my eyes. I loved it. To this day, I still listen to the soundtrack on a regular basis. To this day, I cherish the pictures I have of the fireworks going off over the lagoon. I think back of the times when sometimes the fireworks were so high that I couldn't get into a picture, or the times where it was just breezy enough where it blew the smoke into my eyes. Tonight, my friends, in about 14 minutes, we are going to have one last showing of Illuminations. If you happen to be watching us over at the Behind the Ears podcast Facebook page or on YouTube, you're more than welcome to comment. I will not be showing comments during the show. However, we'll have a little bit of a chat here beforehand, and maybe even a little bit of a chat afterward. We have our man on the street, our local communications director, Chris, on site right now. And let me tell you something. I will tell you right now, his phone is struggling a little bit because, let's face it, everybody and their brother is there and trying to either stream it or something or another. Little known fact, that just kills any sort of wireless network. I don't care where it is. This is going to be just sit back and enjoy it. Listen to the music. The video will be as good as it can be. He and I were playing around with some settings. And just to let you know, Danny and I were talking about how we can make certain things like this better. Certain special events to stream for you better. I can't guarantee you that I'm not going to be sad at the end of this stream for Illuminations to end. It is going to be missed. Now, the funny part about it is, I have seen several people say today, hey, I'm not going to miss it. I've seen it too many times. I'm ready for something else. I'm ready for something new. And also saying things like, man, I hope it's like this. I hope it, I hope the new show has a great soundtrack. I hope the show has something for everyone. I hope the show can be seen very well, no matter where it is in the around the lagoon, much like Illuminations. And I will sit here and I will tell you right now, I hope a lot of that as well. A lot of what draws me to Illuminations is the soundtrack and the story. I'll never forget some of the first times I got to see it. There were times that I saw Illuminations more than one time during a week. And that was signifying a very special trip. I'm really looking forward to it. I really am. I'm looking forward to seeing this one last time. I'm looking forward to what's new. And it's going to be very difficult to know that this is it. Last Tuesday was the last time I got to see it in person. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, I will tell you right now, I think it actually went by too fast. It was like, wow, that was it. And I sit back and I think of my kids. Because a lot of times after Illuminations, I like to just hold my family. Honest to goodness. It just meant a lot to me. It just really did. So tonight, it's going to be a little different. We're going to talk a little bit about it here. And all I like to ask is that you guys go ahead and share this out. Let other people take a peek at it. Just remember, if you're over at the WDW community page, I will not be able to see your comments. And you can thank Facebook for that. I look forward to the new show. The sampling of the new show that I heard does sound equally as awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it's going to be like. And tomorrow night, you know, we're going to have the new show. And then afterwards, we will have our regularly scheduled program, which will be a little bit later after Epcot Forever. I know some people were kind of like making fun of the new title, Epcot Forever, that is. Thinking, oh, it's only supposed to be around for a year. But it should be kind of interesting since it's going to provide a musical and visual interlude as to what Epcot has brought to us over the past several decades. So with that being said, we got about 8 minutes. Chris is in the green room right now. I'll bring him on in just a moment. Let me go ahead and bring up some comments really quick. Stephen, I have to agree. It is a sad day. And, but you know what? A lot of sad days end up better than you think. Laura says she's crying over this show. Heather says, hey, I'm sorry I missed you guys when you visited. She was sick and not at work. I'm really sorry to hear that too. I hope you're feeling better there, Heather. Chris is also very bummed, just says it stinks. Melissa says, hey to everybody. Joanne says that she was very sad our plans didn't allow us to see it in person. I get it. Margie says hello to me and everybody else, I'm sure. Laura says that she already has tears coming out of her eyes. Jonathan mentions that it is his absolute favorite show. Greetings to Amy as well. And greetings to Alex as well, too. Amy also says this show will be hard to beat, and I don't disagree. Hi, back to you, Atcha Brunette. How you doing? Nancy from the West Coast says she's watched it 3 times on her last trip. Most trips included at least 2 viewings. Karen basically also mentioned what I said about the new show is going to be amazing. And I'd like to think so too. I've got confidence that it's going to be pretty darn epic. Alex shared out the show. Thank you so much, Alex. Melissa mentions it's actually raining here and none of the crowd has disappeared. Laura says she's in tears at the Cub Scout meeting. That's not good. Julie says it's a sad day. And thank you again, Alex, for that. Jen says she's sad to see Illuminations go, but excited to see Epcot forever. I feel the same way. Scott says, hey, enjoyed watching it with you guys last week. Scott, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you and your family last week and to share one last viewing as well. I think Chris finally figured out how to press the button to get him going. So I'm going to bring him on here in just a second. Brunette says she has wonderful memories. And let's see. Alex says he'll miss the awesome music. Excellent fireworks show in Disney history. I agree. Bob says that he believes that we are losing another good show. Laura's watching this show at the Cub Scout meeting. Kinsley, Princess Kinsley, sweetheart of a little girl, is watching too. Julie says, it's sad, but if they didn't keep things updated, we would complain that nothing ever changes. Brian says it's time to go. It lasted 15 years past its run planned ending. Very true, but it also goes to show how much people have liked it as well. And Jessica mentions, I'm also in tears. Nick is looking at me like I'm crazy. George mentioned he saw it Thursday. Progress is awesome as well. All right, everybody. I'm going to hold off any additional comments. I'm going to go ahead and bring Chris into the mix here. I'm going to unmute his mic. It may get noisy. He may not be able to hear me, and that's okay. As I said, I will not be posting comments up on the screen. We are doing our absolute best. Whoop. He just fell out. Anyway. Whoop. Here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. Hey, man. Hey, Chris.
I pushed the wrong button.
That happens. Trust me. We've had that problem before.
So as you can see, it's pretty packed. I got here about 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish, I think, and it's just been packing in ever since.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Is that?
I'm saying that's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, it's.
Is that Lisa in front of you?
Yes, it is Lisa in front of me.
Lisa!
How are you tonight?
Doing good.
Nobody wants to see me right now.
So this is about the view you guys gotta get for it. It's very packed in, so you gotta be very courteous when others are at you, so you don't block their view. But this is definitely the view you're gonna have for it.
No problem, Chris. We certainly appreciate all your efforts.
You guys got it. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my audio so it doesn't get any feedback on my side. Not obviously not my microphone, just my phone's sound. And it's gonna start in 3 minutes. So guys, enjoy.
Chris, I will go ahead and do that for you.
10.
All right, let me go ahead and do that. All right. Well, this is definitely, as you can tell, it's just packed. Lisa over there from the Disney Nerds podcast, she's been there for since early afternoon. Pretty amazing, if you ask me. I hope you enjoy the show tonight. Afterwards, don't go anywhere. We'll go ahead and feed on different comments and maybe chat a little bit. Kind of a, do I want to say an after party or do I want to call it an after reflection? Illumination Reflections with Chris. I don't know. I guess I'm just really somber right now. You know, I kind of feel like Bailey. Bailey says I'm not ready, and in some ways I'm not. But I'm going to go ahead and undo his mic. I'm going to drop out. I will still be here. Keep those comments coming. We'll touch on those comments after the show. Enjoy it, and I'll talk to you in a moment.
Okay, guys, we're 1 minute. We are 30 seconds away. And it started to rain. So we got an umbrella.
Oh yeah!
This wasn't the last night. All these people, all these people. This isn't. It's raining. You can't see the deer. We won't judge. Lisa, we won't judge. Thank you. No more beer for her.
That was the first fireworks.
We hope you enjoy our story tonight. Reflection of
No, it's
Thanks for talking to you, Dad. I like the lead one here. Fireworks are cool.
Woo! Disney Nerds for Life!
I got the pen. She wants back short. I can get better beer now. What's the green light on I've seen that one. I think that's what it's okay. Thank you for letting us share this party.
You should be good. I will. Behave.
How long has it been since you were in the Navy?
Since I helped them, yeah, since 99.
Oh, wow, it's probably changed up.
Oh no, it's again.
All right, Chris, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah, I hear you, buddy.
All right, great job.
All right, so I don't know how your the detail was in the video for you guys, but it looked pretty good on my end. Hold on one second, let me turn the camera back around. How was the quality on your side?
Well, it was what we expected, but everybody really enjoyed it. From what I can tell here, a lot of people just really are commenting. You know, here comes the tears. Thank you, and they're
Oh, I hear you there.
Fire.
I had tears streaming down my face. It's something. It's so much different in person too, and it's a powerful performance. You can't help it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, got a lot of people want to say thank you to you, Chris, for sharing it with everybody. So by all means, yeah, I'll say that as well. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow night for Epcot Forever.
Yep, we were talking about that beforehand, and I'm sure we're going to be doing it.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys go for now. It's gonna be Madhouse getting out of here, so I will. I don't know if you can, or do you want me to just leave studio?
You can go ahead and just leave the studio. I'll take care of the rest.
All right, guys. Take care. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks, Chris. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Well, there you have it. The final Illuminations. And, while I can sit here and say things like, you probably didn't have the clearest stream in the world, but I had the music going through my head. I had the fireworks going through my mind and a lot of memories that kind of flooded me for a little bit. I agree with George. I'm looking forward to a new chapter. And, I'm kind of holding things back right now. I can guarantee you something. When I'm done here, I'm going to sit back. I got my headphones on. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to listen to the whole thing. And I'll listen to, the whole Illuminations soundtrack, which I have. And I cherish that, that soundtrack. I agree with the George. I actually thought they were going to have a special tag at the end. But yeah, I was really kind of wondering. This is great to share. Wendy mentions Illumination is part of what got my husband hooked to Disney on their honeymoon. And I have to agree. But you know what? Kind of like what Julie said, there's a new chapter, a new chapter to come, new memories to make. Cannot agree with that more. If there's one thing that I think that we've all learned is that there are many things that we can complain about. And this show has really been around for a long, long time. We can't complain about that. Just with the sheer number of people that just love watching it. I think a lot of us are surprised as well that there wasn't a tribute at the end of some sort, or at least a tag, much like what they do around Christmas time and even New Year's. I'm looking forward to what Epcot Forever has in store. I really, truly am. It's supposed to be different. It's supposed to have an awesome soundtrack and a lot newer visuals. It should be really a lot of fun. Chris will be bringing that to us tomorrow night. I look forward to that. It's going to be cool, man. It's going to be cool. Great time to, let's see. Great time to schedule the show's next meetup. Yep. We'll have to figure it out, Chris. I wish I had another trip, although I will admit I've not been back a week yet. I've already started to figure out when am I going to do my next trip. So I have to confess something. My next trip may be out to the West Coast. Not too shabby. Kind of depends what's going on and everybody's timing. We'll have to figure it out. But I've already have a general idea of when I will be back at Walt Disney World for a couples trip this coming up year. And then, of course, if Danny and I are lucky, we're going to do another trip and basically do it for the viewers. It should be fun. Chris is basically saying, hey, I hope you all enjoyed that. He's still trying to recover his emotions. I get it. George, I love this, brother. It'll never be forgotten. We get to tell our grandchildren the stories. I loved it. Patty mentions, I've loved viewing Illuminations with family and friends over the years, but getting excited for Epcot Forever. It'll be something new to look forward to. I totally agree, my friend. Totally agree. Actually, Brian brings up something that's actually kind of cool. He goes, hey, they probably couldn't do a tag because they have two shows in the staging area. So I get it. What keeping secrets from us? Julie, I don't know if you know this. I don't necessarily tell anybody when my personal trips are. It's just, I have no problem meeting people if they find me while I'm roaming the parks. But generally speaking, those are with my family. and my family tends to want to stay a little bit more private. So I respect that. And if someone finds me, they're more than welcome to find me because the rules still apply. You find me in the parks, you're going to get swag. I gave out a lot of swag last week. So yeah, Nancy, I'll let you know when the dates actually, come in contact, because the young near doctor is actually going out to Cali in order to go and, I guess, do something at a seminar down in San Diego, I think. So we're trying to figure that out. But as I said, I will let people know when I'm down there for when Danny and I hopefully got our next trip planned. So I totally get it. And George, I know what you mean by the whole flying in really early. My flight last week did not arrive into Indianapolis until about 10 minutes after 11. And I got out of the Indianapolis airport just short of midnight. I did not arrive home until 2:30 Eastern time. That was a long drive home. Thank goodness there was a White Castle halfway home. My wife was not saying, thank goodness he stopped at a White Castle later that day. All right, so what are your thoughts? Are you looking forward to Epcot Forever? Are you looking forward more towards the show afterwards? What are you looking forward to? Are you going to forego this and just go to Happily Ever After? Are you going to go to Fantasmic a little bit more? What are your plans? Do you want to see this, and are you looking forward to it? What do you hope you get out of Epcot Forever? What are some of your thoughts, my friends? I'd love to hear from you while we have a little bit of time together. Not going to spend too much time unless the conversation is great. Then we all know what happens. I continue talking until y'all tell me to be quiet. Oh, Bailey, I know what you mean. She's like, I'm totally not crying at work right now. Brunette's looking forward to the future. I am too. I think that is going to be cool. Scott is giving Chris a shout out for a great job. It's challenged to do that sort of thing. I'll tell you that right now. There's too many people at Trisha's house, she says. I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to probably get a little bit emotional, but I'm really, George, like he says, it's exciting, but the show is temporary. Yes, you're absolutely correct, George. The show is temporary, but, I've found that even some of the temporary shows that they've done in the past have actually been pretty good. You remember before Rivers of Light, they had a temporary show that was based off the retelling of the Jungle Book story. I actually really, really enjoyed that show. I thought the music and everything was just fantastic, even though it wasn't, it was panned. It was panned a lot by a lot of people. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I walked out of there going, that was really nice. And I was looking forward to Rivers of Light. And I still like Rivers of Light. I still enjoy that soundtrack immensely. Let's see. Bailey says, I know I'm going to enjoy Epcot Forever because of all of our old favorite songs are coming back. And one of the things I love the most about Epcot is its music. Bailey, yes. Me and you both, my friend. Nancy says, I'd love to see Epcot Forever because I'm hoping they will use some seriously retro Epcot music, but I don't think I'm going to make it out there. So we'll have to wait for the new show. Well, I'll tell you what. Nancy, if I get it out there, I know that I'm going to probably not necessarily stream it. I will probably record it with a high-def recorder and be able to show it off a little bit. So, Laura, you need to watch out because if you have a red face from crying and you're around a whole bunch of Boy Scouts, they're going to think something's wrong, and next thing you know, you're going to be a victim of a first aid training story. Let's see. Julie says, I'm so conflicted, sad, and excited at the same time. Can't really get attached to something playing for just 1 year. I get it. Steven says, hey, we'll see Epcot Forever, but it'll never replace Illuminations, just like Wishes. Good point. Wishes is one of those shows that everybody has always loved. I still miss Wishes. I think Someone asked, which one do you love better? Wishes or Happily Ever After? I say, you know what? It's like my two kids. I love them both for the uniqueness which they are. Bailey agrees with you, by the way, that the Odd Jungle Book show is awesome. Thank you, Bailey. You're probably going to be the only person, but I thank you anyway. What Julie goes, I wonder why they didn't just hang on to Illuminations for the extra year. You know my take on it? I'm going to give you a guess. I have nothing to back this off of. Zero. It's probably about testing. Probably about a little bit of technology testing. I bet you they're going to test out some things that they want to do, and they're going to use Epcot Forever to kind of get a little retro, but also test some new technology. I bet you any money. That's my take on it, my guess. I could be wrong. Again, I've got nothing to base that off of except my own gut feeling. And as you know, that's a pretty big feeling. Let's see. And too many comments just zipped on by. Jessica says she got her Chef Figment Pop today. I thought it was cute. Can't stand the eyes. I'm just going to say that out loud. Shoot me now. Happily Ever After is considered a temporary show. And he thinks it's better than Wishes. How do you say that it's considered a temporary show? Would be very curious to hear that. George says, heard jet skis and kites. I've heard kites, not really sure about the jet skis part. Chris says, for me, it begins to change and to start for the 50th. Just in the past month, we've got Destino Tower Skyliners, and he considers it a beginning. Good way of looking at it, Chris, because, I mean, it could be just a precursor as to what is to come. Christopher mentions, hey, when there was there when Illuminations opened, was a new hire for the Disney Cruise Line. We were there when it premiered. So excellent, my friend. So while seeing it now closing, it sort of defined my experience at Disney. Oh, wow. To see something begin and end after not just a couple of years, but decades, that's pretty impressive, Chris. I totally get it. Jerry said they had a snippet of the music for Epcot Forever on Twitter. They sounded good, so I'll give it a chance. I hope it's good because Happily Ever After does not excite me. I love Happily Ever After for the music. I really do. And I got to be honest with you, last week, you probably, some of you probably saw some of the things that we did with Happily Ever After from behind the castle. That was actually really cool. And as Chris said, it gets loud. And no, he wasn't kidding. It got really super duper loud. Okay, here's another comment. Bailey said, Illuminations was my favorite Walt Disney World show since Wishes left us. That was always number one. And then Rivers of Light, Happily Ever After is good, but it didn't hit me in the feels like Wishes and Illuminations did. I get it. Trisha says, hey, I'm looking forward to the new show. It's going to be exciting, especially since we're actually getting 2 new shows. It's a good way of looking at it. You're getting not just this one show, but a year later, you're going to get another one. That doesn't happen all that often. Even when they did the Jungle Book show, fact of the matter is that was produced in 30 days because of something went wrong with Rivers of Light. You got to hand it to the Imagineers. They really nailed it. Chris says, I'm old. Brian says, hey, Happily Ever After is supposed to be replaced in 2020 or 2021 with a new show for the 50th. I don't recall that being mentioned. For some of the things that are going on. It's kind of interesting. We'll have to take a look to see what comes of that. And by the way, I'm not saying that that's not accurate. I'm saying I don't recall. That being said, totally different thing. So we'll have to see. It'd be interesting to see if that's the case. I will say this, though. I wouldn't be surprised if they had something special in addition to Happily Ever After for the 50th or having Happily Ever After come back in a very similar manner that for the past several years, even after Happily Ever After came into existence, that they had Hollow Wishes and Christmas Wishes, a very similar manner, because they could bring these shows back. They could do these shows on a whim if they want. They have the programming. All they need are the fireworks and everything else like that. Can't wait to see this episode 20 years from now. It would be very interesting to kind of compare. So I definitely will agree with that. But yeah, and I kind of go along the lines with what Trish is saying. I haven't heard anything. I don't recall anything being said about a special show being run, a special show or another show being replacing. Yeah, I'm having a hard time talking. A special show replacing Happily Ever After. But I would bet there's going to be something special for the 50th. And I bet you money it's going to be pretty spectacular. And they'll probably bring Happily Ever After back after it because it's only been up for a couple of years. They're going to probably let it run for a little while afterwards. Hold on 1 second. I'm getting a message on the bat phone. All right. So let's see. Go back to this. Let's see. Samantha basically says, hey, I like the idea of them testing tech and Epcot forever for the next show. Again, that's my guess. That's my guess. I don't have anything to back that up. But let's face it, Disney uses a lot of these things as ways to test. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm kind of guessing. Because, I mean, there's a lot of things that Disney likes to do, and you can only test so much in a test environment. Sometimes you have to test in a live, we'll have to test. Yeah, they'll have to test a little bit, with an actual live studio audience, as they say. So, give me 1 second. I got another person messaging. Give me 1 quick second. I do apologize. Sometimes you have to. Sorry. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Actually, the thing is, I think what's going to happen for the 50th is just a lot of really cool items. I think Magic Kingdom is going to have a lot of neat things happen, from new projections, possibly special fireworks. I'm still thinking parades are going to be kind of in the route for the 50th. Who knows? I mean, I think there's a lot of things that probably weren't necessarily mentioned at D23 last year. I just think there's a lot that could be coming up for the 50th. So we'll have to see how it goes. But until then, we've got something that's going to be something brand new coming up tomorrow. So we're going to, as I said, we're going to do our show tomorrow, and we're just in 10. I'm getting tired. We're going to go ahead. We're going to show Epcot Forever tomorrow. And then we'll have our live show. Danny and I are going to talk a little bit about our food and wine trip. It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you right now, because it was definitely a different kind of trip. And I'm still reflecting on our trip in a very positive, lighthearted, and in a manner that makes me smile. And I hope to share that with everybody here tomorrow, and Danny as well. Just going to share about what Jess, Nick, and I, and Kinsley experienced over at Disney Meet the previous week ago, this past Saturday. That was epic, totally, completely epic. Loved it. Had a great time. So tomorrow's going to be a very busy day between, about 8:45 Eastern, all throughout the hour that we start our show at 9:45. It's just going to be a big time. So let's see here. A couple of last comments here. Yeah. Talking about a little bit of irony. Bailey mentioned, not that it got as much of attention as Illuminations it did today, but Main Street Electrical Parade is ending its run at Disneyland tonight again. Yeesh. Wow. Nancy's like, long live the Main Street Electrical Parade. You know what? I'll be honest with you. Am I the only person that actually liked Paint the Night better? I probably am. Let's see. Alicia puts her money on a 50th anniversary parade. and she'd be really shocked if there wasn't. So there we go. Well, folks, I'm out of stuff to drink. I need to clean up my office to get it ready for tomorrow. It's been a long day. My first day back after vacation. We all know how fun that is. Hey, you know what? Before you all go, let me just mention this. Some of you are rather new to the show, new to the channel. Thanks for joining. Hope you understand that we'd love to have conversation. We'd love to talk about different things. If we find out new and interesting things, we'd love to talk more about them as well. Of course, if there's anything else that you want to talk to us on the side, go ahead and give us a shout out over at the Behind Ears Podcast Facebook page. Drop us a line over there. Drop us a line over at the Behind Ears Podcast or over at behindearspodcast@gmail.com. Be more than happy to talk with any of you on the side. Really love building up this community. It is absolutely great. For those of you who don't know, you're a part of a community that includes a top-ranked podcast, an absolute fabulous community that people call home, and just a lot of people that just love Disney and care about their fellow fans. By all means, I hope you all had a wonderful evening this evening. Can't wait to talk to you again. By all means, let me know if there's anything that we can do for you. Till we meet again, hope everybody has a magical night. Talk to you soon, and take care.